I'll give the time to you. At least naka-record naman, so even if others cannot join us on time, they can listen to the recording. Pero bigay ko po sa iyo yung time and for what you have for us today to discuss. I think naka-mute po kayo. Okay.
Ayun.
Kita lang po?
Yes po. Nakikita naman. You can, yeah. And you can make the screen.
Wait. Hindi lang. Okay. I started good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. And Alvin asked me to share. I said 5 minutes only. I said no, 15 minutes. It's only the few good practices that I've been involved with the government for a short time. And even now, hoping and praying that I'll be appointed as the Provincial Youth Development Officer in the province of Bukidnon by January. Hopefully, I'm praying. Right now, I'm going to share with you what the Lord has done here in Malabalay. My first question when I started the youth program is, can the church reach out to the youth in the community as a whole, the church? And my second question is, can the Lord use me? And I ask the Lord, because the first experience I have when we have a house in a small subdivision, I saw young people, plenty of them playing basketball. And I am asking the Lord, can I reach them? Can I share the gospel to them one by one? And he said, you will have a long time sharing the gospel to them one by one. And the Lord brought me into one word like Exodus Society. It's a Christ society. I started all youth organizations from fraternities, sororities, all kinds of organizations that started in the Philippines. All the gang group, the fraternities, the religious, all those groups, and mostly started by Western. So I said, can I make a local youth organization? So I went to BSU, started BSU, taking public administration. Just a front that I will go inside the school and started a youth ministry. It's just a trial, test and trial. Maybe I could share the gospel, or I don't know. But I'm praying that the Lord will give me the wisdom to start the ministry. So I'll just share a few things. In 2008, I volunteered as a counselor to the establishment entertainers. These are prostitutes in the city. I conducted regular counseling and value formation program during sanitary checkup. Every Wednesday, they will have a checkup. So these are the LGBT, these are our leaders from establishments. So I do the picture. I should have, do the selfie. This is the head, the woman there with the sunglasses, the reading glasses is Ati Inday. She heads the cleaning. All the gay and the prostitutes went there every Wednesday for checkup for sanitary. That's the start in 2018. The woman there in the picture, she's the budget officer in our city. If you know Alban, she's the Arlene Ho. So when I work with the city, I only have only two friends, mayor and the budget officer. The mayor will be the one to sign the budget, and the budget officer will say yes. So I need to make friends with them while working in the city. If they will not agree, the two of them, so I will have no budget in the ministry that has given me. In 2009, I co-organized the Malaybala Youth Transformation Movement. These are composed of 23 gang groups in Malaybalay City. So the different kinds of gang groups, I cannot name all of them. The Crips, the Bloods, the 41 Miller, they're all hired killer gang groups. So there are 23 of them. As you can see there, the Malaybala Youth Transformation Movement. So they are all gangs. Some of them have tears in their eyes. So some of them are their body are full of tattoo. In 2009, I conceptualized the creation of the Exo Society. It started with the city scholars, composed of committed city scholars. I volunteered as a spiritual advisor to the mayor's, to the city mayor's office. And because the mayor has 250 scholars every year until now. So can you imagine handling the 250 scholars every year, gathering them, and sharing to them the gospel about leadership and doing some mentoring. So every year I have 250 first-year students studying in the whole province of Bukidnon, all schools, all college schools in the province. So I do leadership training, I do mentoring activities, and that's the start of the Exo Society. Youth Today before, it's a Youth Today, Leaders Tomorrow. So we changed it to Youth Today, Leaders Now. And to make it formal, this is our last logo for our Exo Society. Exo Society is a Christ Society. It's a Unitas Fratrum. So, if you'd like to ask a question, why I didn't use the religious group, we use it socio-civic so that I could enter into schools, especially Catholic schools or any barangay, all youth groups. I can enter into their program because they will not see me. They will see me as a pastor, but my organization that I brought to them is a socio-civic. So it's not a threat to them. So that's why I started. This is my core. We celebrated our 10th year anniversary in Word of Life. Alban, do you know where's Word of Life? We have our first. Yes. We have our first baptism, 80 of them, last 2010. So this is my core leaders. Some of them are lawyers, accountants, teachers, bankers, salesmen, all professionals. They are now 29 and 28 years old, but before they are second year college, first year college. So my core group, the Exos core leaders. That's our logo. In 2010, began to do spiritual advisor to the City Scholars program under the City Mayor's office. With 200, I already mentioned that 250 class every year, conducted regular value formation program, conducted regular leadership programs and character formation building, conducted team building activities and student camps. Can you imagine 250 a year? If you combine first year to 40 year, how many of them? But usually, when they reach 40, maximum is that will graduate around 70 students. So my prayer before is, Lord, can you give me even just one student every year that I could disciple with or mentor with? That's the only prayer. But now there are many of them. 2011, also the creation of the Local Youth Development Council of Balay City. It was created during the secession of the SK election. SK election has been stopped 5 years. So I developed the ordinance, and it was, I don't know, Alvan, if you know Maya Rosos, Attorney Maya Rosos, if you're familiar with her. So she's the one who sponsored the creation of the Local Youth Development Council, composed of city department heads and all youth organizations. So these are all youth leaders or organizations when we do our youth festivals. Just to run through 2016, I was appointed as a local youth development officer of Balay City. So I organized all youth sectors from PWD, the LGBT, religious, academic, out of school youth, IP youth, fraternity, sororities, and social civic. Can you imagine a pastor having this opportunity, doing mentorship and discipleship and training, leadership for them to be effective potential youth leaders to make some impact and influence in the city. 2016. Can you guess who are those people in the picture? They're all gays. I'm the one taking the picture. We have a gala night. I didn't get all the picture because first picture is only the white who wore the gown. Now it's the black who wore the gowns and all those things. They're all gays, actually. So they are called GUGMA, Gay United Association of Malaybalay City. That's the gays leaders, LGBT sector. 2016, 2018 organized 3 youth festivals in Malaybalay. In 2016, we have the first youth festival. In 2017, we have the youth festival. In 2018, the SK Linggo ng Kabataan. It's a youth festival. Can I share to you the video for a few minutes if you allow me to share? Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
I have still time.
You have sound, Kuya?
Can you hear? Can you hear the sound?
No.
Wait.
No sound from the...
That one. No sound?
No sound.
Wala sound na eh. Wait.
I think maybe you have to remove your earphones or...
Can you hear it?
No. No, maybe naka-unplug ang yung earphone. Naka-unplug yung earphone. Sa computer mo, naririnig mo? Can you hear it from there, Kuya Rod? Naririnig mo siya?
Sa computer?
Apo. I-unplug mo bali yung ano mo. Unplug mo lang yung earphone mo from the... Apo. Unplug nyo po sa device.
Yan, unplug ko na eh. May sounds na eh.
What sounds?
Hello.
Stop ko rin ito.
Kasi...
I-delete mo natin.
Yan, parang may naririnig na ako.
Nanadog siya na eh.
Ha?
Nakadog na siya ito.
Ito?
Oo, nana.
Ano siya? Nakashare naman ganun.
Sige.
And then reshare na lang po.
Ano? Ito na? Ito na? Kita nila daw? Kita nila?
Sige lang, take 2.
Can you hear?
Yes, but ang share ay again pa-share screen na lang muna. And then play.
Voice menu. Ikaw ang voice menu.
Kuya Rad, it's okay if maglisod ka with the ano.
What?
Yeah, if maglisod ka with the video, we can continue with, we can watch it later if you can send the link.
Later. Okay.
Walang problema.
Okay. Balik na eh.
Share screen lang usap, Kuya.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay na. Yeah.
Alright. So,
2017.
after 2017 appointed as Youth Development Officer under the SK Reform Act law and created the Youth Development Office, spearheaded all programs and projects of the SK Malaybalay, conducted leadership training, youth summits, and team building activities, facilitated plannings of programs, projects, and activities, monitored 46 barangay, SK chairmen, and councilors. That's the logo of the Malaybalay Youth Development Office. In 2017, 2019, before the start of the SK leadership, I've conducted training for them for the Philippine Youth Development Plan 2017-2022 as approved by the NYC. So, I go around training. These are this one. They are 24 to 18 years old gangsters inside the jail. So I visited them in their cell, in the prison, in the in the jail, do trainings. And that's the first SK chairman and the local youth development council crafting our Philippine Youth Development Plan in Mount Moriah, Alban. You're familiar with Ate Grace Ayala? 2018, elected as Iloilo president in the province of Bukidnon. So I have much bigger ministry because I am the president. So I go around all towns doing local youth development plans for all SK chairman. So 20 municipalities and 2 cities facilitated the crafting of the local youth development plan. So the task is so big and the ministry is so wide. So I'm thankful for that few moment that I was used by God in the province. I am once the coordinator of the National Youth Commission for Bukidnon since 2003. Hosted the Regional Youth Advisory Council as a member. All youth leaders, all youth representatives from whole region came to Malabra. That's folk art theater Alban. And the National Anti-Poverty Youth Sector as a representative in the province of Bukidnon.
You know.
And in 2019, authored approved ordinance of the creation of the Provincial Youth Development Office in the province of Bukidnon. So praying its preparation by 2021 and my appointment as the Provincial Youth Development Officer. The challenges is, that's the program. It's my challenge to the church that you need to make a program based on that 9 key areas by the Philippine Youth Development Plan, and we can enter because there are budget. There are budget for that in every barangay, in every city and province, every key areas there. You can reach out to the youth and do some programs and project, and they have budget. So my challenge to the church, to all youth ministry in the church, that we need to reach out to the youth in our community. So thank you very much. That's all. Make it short. Thank you very much for listening.
All right. Thank you so much, Kuya Rodney. Let's hear some comments, feedbacks. Again, at this point, if you have questions for Kuya Rodney, I mean, based on that, you can see the extensive experience of his with regards to working with government organizations. So, okay, let's hear it. And Colin, you were saying something?
Yeah, Rodney, because I heard you last time I was on, and I absolutely love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're being Jesus, because Jesus managed to love all people, prostitutes, sinners, tax collectors. It didn't matter who they were, he loved them. And the fact that you are reaching out in the way you are to the gay community in particular, I just find that wonderful, because sometimes we can't differentiate what we call sin and the sinner, and Jesus did that, and you're doing that. I love the way you're working with government. We have a good friend in sub-Saharan Africa called Joe Bonga, who is doing a very similar thing, and he's on a very lonely journey, because in Africa, it's, like, let's take the gay community. He's actually protecting the gay community from a lot of the government's oppression of the gay community. And the church then label him because he's protecting the gay community. So he is, on the one hand, got the government over here, on the other hand, got the church over here, and behind him is the gay community. And I'm so sad about the church, actually, really, really sad, because we've got to learn how to love people. And that's what you're doing. I want to connect you both. Rodney, I'm not sure I have your email, but I'd love to have it because I'd love to connect you with Joe, because I think you can mutually encourage each other. But you're setting a trend for the globe in what you're doing, and I'm so grateful to God for you.
So I guess
I am just an instrument, Colin.
Bless you.
I can send you,
It's an
Colin.
instrument.
I'll connect you with
Thanks.
Rodney, and then you can
Thanks.
take the conversation from there.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. Again, let me open this to questions on, again, the topic right now is how can we work as youth organizations, Christian youth organizations at that, with the government. And let's try to, if you have, let's ask questions of Rodney regarding that.
Yeah, let me start here. I know that you have worked closely with Lina on some projects with One Hope. In how were you able to use uh, in what way was um, in One Hope instrumental to what you're doing?
I was so excited when I hosted Lena to come to share about One Hope. After, because he's working with the children, after our seminar, he told me that he has lead today materials created by John Maxwell for the youth, and was so happy. I said, I never really regretted hosting Pastoral Lina to come to Malaybalay and gathering all the churches and pastors to have the materials for the training. And I am so happy. So, but when I have that materials, I called all the district superintendent in Malaybalay City, in Valencia, and the whole province of Bukidnon and other areas. And I have already booked them for the training of all high school leaders from grade 7 to grade 12. So I'm just waiting that it will come to normal again, and we will having face-to-face program or training. Then the materials already arrived, so I'm just waiting for all the schools to open. Then the materials will be distributed. It was already booked, so I have no problem with that. So I would like to thank John Maxwell and One Hope and Pastor Alina for sharing me the jewel. I was so happy for the lead today. Very happy for that materials. So it will be used after the school opening face to face. Herman.
I was trying to
Yes.
because I'm sorry. Okay, here's another question, bro. Okay, and understandably, like what Colin was saying, we may not have a strong reaction from pastors and such. But what were challenges with regards to like churches in Malaybalay with what you're doing among the students or the sectors that you are working with? Are they happy with what you're doing? Are they, how do they look at what you're doing? Yeah, in what sense? How do the churches there receive what you're doing?
Naka-mute, bro. Pa-turn on lang sa akin.
I have a gangster, Richard Sibayan. He's a Baptist, and he's the one handling all the 23 gang groups. And he was questioned by the Fundamental Baptist Church that there is no such thing as pastor in a gang. So when he started the ministry, there are lots of questions, why there is a church or a pastor in a gang group. When they realized that it was from the Lord and they saw the transformation of the gangs in the city, they are amazed. And many wants to hire him to be under their church, who wants to support him. And they said, "Church, we started this ministry, but without money. We just cried because we have ministries, real ministry, and there are pastors there that we have seen having support from outside sources, And us, just by faith, and we just keep working. I mean, some pastors are so happy, but they try. There are lots of many women, older women, who come with me. We do counseling with the prostitutes, because I will not counsel prostitutes because they're women. I brought my wife and elder people from other churches to come and do counseling. With a certain topic, and they will be the one to do praying and counseling and follow up. So churches are so happy, and even the church in the Baptist in Bethel, Alman, is trying to start a gay program, but it didn't realize. There are other churches being challenged of what I am doing, and right now some of them are trying, but if it is not their passion or their calling, it will fail. I have one friend, a pastor, who started the prostitute and doing counseling and prayer. After that, he housed one prostitute. He rented an apartment and staying with the apartment, and he was caught. He failed and committed a sin. So trying to do ministry without the leading and the calling of the Lord, it will fail. But this one is my background. Before starting this program, I was friends with the gays, friends with the call boys. I was once a gangster and a leftist, so it's easy for me to work with them because that's my ministry. But the church, they are now challenged, really challenged. And there are churches here started like Victory and CCF. The Victory in Manila are so popular that they are really, they can influence the youth in their cities, and also CCF. But coming to Malaybalay, because I handle the whole youth organizations, he said it's very hard for us to penetrate the schools because Pastor Rodney is already there, having all the contacts, and it's very hard to penetrate. The bald pastor there is already there. So it's a challenge for them, and I'm happy that they're working and moving, and I hope they will have to, break all those walls and they could see the people, the youth in the city as a whole.
Yeah. Thank you, Kuya Rod. Siguro my question is like, and this is for like if I'm a youth minister from other sections, because you in a sense are a success story already. Like, what would be one or two things you could give us a tip, or something for somebody who's starting, wants to connect with the government but does not know how to start? Like, what's your the best things that can be done to begin that?
There are lots of pastors asking me, especially the young pastors, Pastor Rodney, how will we start to do the youth in the barangay? I said, first, do a volunteer. You go to your barangay and there are SK there and they have their youth programs. You come there and ask the barangay captain and the SK chairman, how can I help? What kind of program that we could help? Not only, financial, but is there anything? Because if you could see, if you could remember the 9 key areas, they have programs. The SK has plenty of programs right now. So you can be there and help them, and they're very willing. They're very willing and open for helps to come. The one of the problem of the SK is very hard. It's very hard for them to gather an assembly. So the church, if there are a church in a certain barangay, you need to come to the barangay and ask for help, ask to help the SK. And they're very much willing. They are open for help. So first is do a volunteer. Once you have the rapport and the connection and the relationship, everything will be open. So do a volunteer first, then look at the programs where you can come in, then be a blessing.
All right. Pastor Aaron or Debbie, you wanna ask a question or also share something?
Yes po, I want to ask a question. Pastor Rodney mentioned a while ago, yung training po nila is face-to-face and even the materials are given face-to-face. So, if you remember po, Pastor Rodney, I mentioned sa group natin nila ER that I'm interested in an online training, or somehow you can share to the young people this kind of ministry because lalo na sa campus po, it's not really like we are not talking about these ministries pa. But because I myself is not reliable. I don't know. I'm not into these ministries pa po. I mean, I need to know more about this. So if you are hosting po a training or like a seminar, something like that for this ministry, how would that work?
Right now I have a challenge. My son, my son is a second year college student in Ateneo de Manila taking management engineering. And he said, Tatay, Father, can you make a manual or a guidelines, a framework, and you will share it to the churches how you started this ministry, that it could also help them and open their understanding and their eyes. How will you do that so that them also will understand what you are doing? Because I think you're the only one who has the passion doing it. So can you make a manual, a guideline, a framework, so that the churches can use that one as the training guide for them? So yeah, yes. Right now, if I have the chance, I can go. I can talk to ministerial associations, group of pastors or organizations, and share to them about how to start a youth ministry without limit. You just go to the barangay or the city or the province, especially if you are connected with the mayor or governor or the barangay captain or any officials. When you come to him, you ask for prayer, and he will definitely they will say no. Yes, I need prayer. And the next thing that they will ask is, how can I help with the youth? And you will call all the youth leaders, and he said, hey, that's like the LGBT, the LGBT, when we have the COVID-19, they have their parlor, their business has been stopped. So I gathered all the information and I created a website, a platform for them, so that all the customers from nails, from hair, from all the makeups, donated foods, packs, and all kinds for them. So they say they're so thankful for me for having them, working with them, and doing some in the Facebook posting that these are your heroes, making you look good. Can you help them also in their times of need? So everyone is putting in all their, and when I come to them, when we see each other in the street, they will hug me. And they will say, oh, there's the Mama Sang in Malaybalay City. Do you understand Mama Sang? Can you understand Mama Sang? Mama Sang is, the leader of the gay. So every gays in the streets of Malaybalay, they will hug me because I am working with them.
A suggestion siguro, Deb, if you are thinking about this, like maybe set the platform or audience, and then maybe, you talk with Kuya Rodney on how he can, share this information. Probably same setup as ganito, or, whatever video platform you want. But, just connect with Kuya Rodney on how that can be done further. Madali na lang siyang kausap eh. Kasi isang sabi ko lang nito, nag-oo na kagad siya dito eh. So
Thank you po.
You know why I wanted really to be appointed in the province of Bukidnon? Their budget for gender and development for 1 year? That's almost 400 million. Can you imagine giving us the opportunity? And the God has plenty, the IP youth, the women's, the PWD, and they don't know how to tap all those resources. If God has given you a chance, the ministry, the discipleship, Jesus Christ will proclaim to them without, barrier, because they have the budget. If we will not tap the budget, they will use it for road maintenance, road network, bridges, and buildings. So there are lots of funds in the government that needs help from the church. It's the church only that could help them. Nobody else. Those people, the leftists, they cannot help. All the NGOs, they cannot help. Only the church. If we will just open our eyes and ask God for wisdom, then the church can be an influence. We could make an impact to the community.
well said, Kuya Rod. Aaron, may tanong ka?
Yeah, yung tanong ko lang, Kasi in Quezon City, like Metro Manila settings, though may background ako ng youth sa Tacloban, parang ganun yung ginagawa namin with Brother Rodney. How can we start small yet we have that kind of vision? May connection kami sa City Hall yet we lack manpower. How can we encourage human resource in our organization as we start small?
I started the program when I created the X2 Society. My dream will be nothing if I don't have a team. So I have a team, I have a core that I trained, I mentored about leadership. So whenever I went to a certain, example, I will host a summit or a conference. It's just me talking to them about this, and all my trained leaders are the one doing all the heavy tasks. So when we have the program, because they are millennials and Generation Z, so you're just making everything. So right now for you is to gather one group who have the same passion and vision, and you need to work in a specific youth. What kind of youth? The youth in the, the disaster youth, in the LGBT youth, gangsters, or out of school or in school. Just gather a small group and start praying, asking God to give you the vision and wisdom. Then you start small, going to barangay, going to school. In the school, they're very open for value formation program. They have a subject for value formation. And you will ask the value formation head, Ma'am, can we volunteer? And they will say no, because they are tired of teaching, So they said, yes, you can come. And like me, I am the president of the PTA, Parents Teachers Association in Bukidnon National High School for 6 years. So it's at 10,600 students. So the ministry is nobody can stop me there because I am the president of the PTA. When I talk to the principal, they say yes. So I do trainings of all the leaders. I can do that. But you need to have a core. You cannot do it by yourself. First, create a small group, and you need to target a specific kind of group and start praying about it. Then the Lord will just lead you through.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, maybe one or two more questions for Kuya Rod.